Whenever I talk to someone on Zoom about their retirement, I tend to categorize them into one of three buckets: paralyzed, pragmatic, or panicked. Let me take you through a couple of typical examples. You'll see what I mean.
Waiting 10 years for a 7% market return, it's not going to change my life. I need something that can move the needle now.
If we listen to what he's saying, he's referring to a 7% return on investment over 10 years. Now, this is something that is commonly quoted as being achievable. If over the 10 years inflation stays below 4%, you've gained a pretty good growth in your money. What this panicked retiree is saying is that wait is too long and the return is too small. So what's he going to do instead? He's going to find himself a tech stock that has recently performing around 20% per year. But the catch is, past performance is not an indicator of future returns. He could end up losing a large proportion of his pension pot that he already thinks is too small. His panic is causing him to make rash decisions. He needs to take a breath. Okay, on to the next clip.
My money's safe. It's in my savings account. I know exactly where it is and I can get to it when I need it.
I'm going to put this guy immediately into the paralysed bucket. He has his money in an instant access savings account. This will be paying about 2.4%. And with interest rates above 3, it means his money is eroding. His purchasing power is dropping, or put more simply, he's losing money every single year. So why have I put him in this category? Well, he's forced into inaction by this paralysis of fear that if he invests his pension pot, that he may not be able to get his hands on it. And he feels that it's distant somehow, rather than in like a local building society where he can go and see the cashier and check that his money's safe. Okay, on to the next clip.
I don't care about growth. I just don't want to lose the money I've been saving up for all my life.
Again, this person goes into the paralysed bucket. Do you agree? He says he doesn't care about growth, yet when it comes to pensions, growth pretty much is everything. That £10 you put into your pension one week in 1979, it would have bought you about 40 pints of beer. Enough booze for like a whole month. But now you'd actually be embarrassed asking for change from a single pint in some parts of the UK. Your pension has to earn more than inflation or you'll never be able to retire. Putting your pension money into a savings account isn't safe. It's the opposite. It'll disappear over time. Let's take a breath here then. Why do I think it's important to make a video like this? Well, I'm hoping that you're starting to think which bucket you would put yourself in. And if you don't think this is the correct bucket for you, what you need to change to make your way into your preferred bucket. Okay, on to the next clip.
Now, standard advice is fine for people who started saving at 20. It doesn't apply to someone in my position who's starting late.
Okay, where's this guy going? He thinks that good practice guidance on investing for your pension doesn't apply to him because he's starting late. And this hints to me that he's going to go high risk, invest in something like Bitcoin or some kind of newly listed pharma company that's hoping to cure cancer. Now, if they do, he's going to make a fortune. If they don't, and they run out of money, then the stock goes to zero. Now, he's definitely, for me, in the panicking bucket. He needs to stick to a sensible plan and just work hard to build this pot by cutting down on spending, not by throwing the whole lot on red and crossing his fingers. Okay, on to the next one.
The stock market's just like a casino. Why would I gamble all my retirement money at my age?
So the stock market is just like a casino. Sorry, but this is definitely going into the paralysed bucket. The stock market has many options and many routes through it. For example, money market funds are low risk and lowish return. Penny stocks are super high risk, with many going to the moon and others going to zero. You can pick your own way through, but discounting the whole stock market will make it difficult for you to keep your savings ahead of inflation. Okay, on to the next.
When the markets dip, I see it as an opportunity, really.
He says, when the markets dip, I see an opportunity. Now, this tells me a lot in a very short sentence. I'm going to put this person in the pragmatic bucket. Here's why. To have an opportunity means that some of your pot is liquid, but you're also open to buying stocks. Now, my best guess at this stage is that this person is invested in the stock market, but not all his pot is directly invested in shares. He may, for example, have some in bonds or some in defensive stocks. He can then liquidate these quite quickly and buy other stocks when they're low, with a view to selling them again when they're high. This is controversial, as most advisors will tell you that time in the market is a fool's errand, and there's actually plenty of studies to agree with them. I'd need to ask some follow-up questions here to see if this person actually did have a good grip on their own risk appetite and understood the cost of moving in and out of stocks frequently. So not so clear-cut, this one. Tell me if you think I picked the wrong box. Okay, let's move on.
Risk. The biggest risk I have is a burden to my family because I didn't take the chance when I could.
Okay, so this person thinks he's been too long in the paralyzed bucket and needs to jump out and find a new bucket. It sounds to me like he's headed for the panic bucket, though. He's playing catch up, and there's a chance he's looking to roll some dice rather than keeping a steady head and following advice. Next.
Market volatility happens. It's just the cost of admission for long-term growth.
Wow. Market volatility is the price of admission for long-term growth. Sounds like something he's read that resonated with him and he's memorized it. Now, I don't have a problem with that. It shows he's actively investigating his options and increasing his knowledge of investing. I actually like what he said. He's basically saying, yeah, I guess there's risks, but there are rarely rewards without some level of risk. Investing's for the long game. So I'm going to put him in the pragmatic bucket. Next.
I'm actually waiting for that perfect stock, and until then, I'm going to keep my money in the high street bank.
Ha! Too easy, this one. Straight into the paralyzed bucket, and if you're not sure why, then probably best go back to the start of the video. Next.
I'm keeping my pension pot in cash until the markets settle down a bit.
Ditto. Move on.
I'm not focused on short-term noise. I focus on a 5 to 10 year horizon.
Okay, we have another resident of the pragmatic bucket here. In short-term noise, what's in the news this week? Well, stock market crash due any day to the circular trading in the AI sector. Maybe population collapse hits all world economies. Pick a date in the past and I could give you another headline that'll see some people selling the stocks and moving into a wigwam in the woods. I mean, short-term noise, it's the real thing. Stay consistent, stay sane. Okay, enough of the videos. Here are 3 takeaways to help you into that pragmatic bucket if that's where you're looking to go. Separate your short-term liquidity, medium-term stability and long-term growth assets to avoid any emotional reactions to this market volatility. Prioritize being tax efficient, using things like ISAs and SIPs for your growth buckets to protect the returns from potential tax erosion. And thirdly, build a contingency fund or a safety bucket specifically to cover those often underestimated first-year retirement expenses, ensuring that you don't need to liquidate growth assets during a market downturn. Now, I need to be clear, I don't consider myself a particularly judgmental person, but we all make judgments because we're human. Now, these initial assessments are often formed in seconds. They're deeply ingrained and they reflect our evolutionary need to process information quickly and react to potential threats or opportunities. Well, these immediate impressions, they're powerful and they do serve as a start point rather than final verdict. Now, recognizing this allows us to take a step back, challenge those early assumptions, ensure our conclusions are driven by carefully thought through thoughts rather than snap decisions. And that's what I'm hoping this video will elicit, really, is that you'll think about what bucket you're in, what bucket you want to be in, what's stopping you getting there. Hope you found this useful. See you on the next one.